many surgeries. And they just never could repair it right. They saved one, but they didn't save the other. They were trying to, and one day, here's the attitude. The doctor comes in, they're getting prepared to do another surgery, or plan one, and apparently, Sergeant Kapachevsky says, "Doc, cut it off already. Get me back to my unit." He wants back in the fight. Really? With one leg? He wants back in the fight. So they cut off his leg, they fit him with a prosthetic. They thought they were going to give Sergeant Kapachevsky a desk job. Didn't happen to turn out that way. He finally got full combat positioning again. He goes to Afghanistan and he goes into combat with a prosthetic leg and ends up dragging a man to safety under fire, a wounded soldier. That's American exceptionalism. Let me tell you, it didn't start with any particular president in office or any politicians in there. That's not where American exceptionalism started. It's bred into us. It's who we are. It's you. All these wonderful soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. You know where they came from? You raised them. You taught them these values. They didn't just get there. I trained recruits in boot camp. I don't have enough time. I can't train them those values. I need you to do it. I need you to send them to me. I could teach them how to shine their boots. I could teach them how to make a bed. I could teach them how to march. I could teach them how to use a weapon. But I can't teach them the values that you did to defend the weak. We're the only country on this planet that believes in defending the weak. We are the only country on this planet that will give our lives for somebody else's freedom. I was speaking one day and a man came up to me afterwards. Yeah, it's funny because if you think the left doesn't send people in here to spy, they do it all the time. They send them in, and I can always say something, and I'll get one of them, and I can see them go, and then they always come up afterwards. They can't help it. And he comes up and he goes, "So you think you're better than the rest of the world?" I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, you're talking about American exceptionalism. You think you're better," and he was a foreigner. "You think you're better than the rest of the world and the rest of us." I said, "I didn't say we were better. I said we're exceptional." English, okay? So he says, "Well, I think you're saying you're better." I said, "Well, let me ask you. What will you die for?" He goes, I said, "Well, let me just tell you something. All the people I just spoke about, the people in this room, we are the only people on the planet that will die because we care more about your freedom than you do." He had no comeback. We are an exceptional people. And I make no bones about it. I go to everyone and I talk to them about what you've done. You did it. I didn't do it. No politician did it. You raised these kids. When I was speaking at that high school in Atlanta, Texas, I want you to know that when I finished, I got probably a 10-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
If you don't think that's encouraging, not for me, it was encouraging. You know, I'm not sitting there getting a big head over it. I'm looking at that going, holy cow, we might have a chance now. Look at these kids. They think the same way we do. They're on their feet. They believe in this stuff. They want to be a part of it. That was encouraging. The work that you're doing every day in here, the stuff that you're doing, you think, oh, another day coming over to We the People. Sometimes it gets a little monotonous. But you're having an impact that you cannot imagine. You're having an impact not just on people in church, people at the corner market, but more importantly, our youth. That's where your impact is being made. And that's where it's important, our youth. Because those are the guys who are going to take these principles of our founding fathers.
I'm nuts. Is your battery going weak or is it rubbing?
Could be.
Can you go with the handheld?
Sure. I don't even need a mic.
Right.
But I can go with handheld.
What's the name on the mic?
Jeremy.
Okay, thank you.
So I can't use this one. I need one that says Mike. It must be mine. It says Mike on the back, so, okay. But that's where it's really going to matter. It's going to matter with those kids, because they're going to be the ones that are going to take these principles of our founding fathers. They're going to be the ones who believe in freedom of speech. They're going to be the ones that continue that go out and do what you're doing today. They're going to be the ones who are going to go out and they're going to buy guns and they're going to put them away. Maybe they're not hunters. Maybe it's because they know they have the constitutional right to do it, and they're just going to buy it anyway, just to prove they have the constitutional right. Those are the ones that are going to continue making this difference for our country. And I was so encouraged when I saw them there. And they stood up, and then afterwards, no one walked out. And it was time for them to go. Teachers, students, they all waited for me to walk off the stage. And they all shook my hand, they patted me on the back. And that was great. But they have no idea it meant more to me, their performance meant more to me than anything they could have said. Because now I'm encouraged. And it just made me want to go out even more to talk to everybody. You're going to be surprised at the different groups. I was in a church the other day, and it was an all-black church. And everyone in that church said, Obama's a disgrace. Obama's an embarrassment. He's the worst president we've ever had. He's a disappointment. And I stood there going, wow, what's the trick? I know something's going to happen here. I thought, well, maybe they didn't give them enough. And I'm not trying to stereotype, because I know there are a lot of blacks who feel that way, who understand. Same thing we do, you know. But I just didn't expect that there. And it come to find out it had nothing to do with the giveaways or anything like that. They felt the same way we felt. That they said, we didn't sign on for this. We did not sign on for this. We love America. And he's doing everything he can to collapse it. That was encouraging. To me, that group of people, that was American exceptionalism. That's what we believe in and what we stand for. I ask every one of you not to do anything different than what you've been doing. I want you to continue coming to your meetings. I want you, if anything, to add some American exceptionalism to what you tell people. Go out and tell them how wonderful this nation is. We have some problems? You bet we do. And we're trying to get him out of office as fast as we can. And those other guys who run behind him. You know who I'm probably going to get myself in trouble here. You know what Boehner reminds me of? You ever remember the cartoon? Obama is the bulldog, and he's walking down the street, and the little chihuahua is Boehner going, bouncing around, going, hey, Ralphie, what are we going to do today, Ralphie? Tell me what to do, Ralphie. What are we going to do? That's Obama and Boehner. And I'm just amazed that people haven't figured it out yet. But I think you're going to find that more and more and more and more they're figuring it out. My problem is, I hope it's not too late by the time everybody figures it out. I don't think that's going to get any better. Of course, the one good news today is Bob is filming me via the internet today. That's great.
I think Bob
the government
watching.
still hasn't taken it over yet. So, we still have a little bit of freedom with that. My surprise is that people just haven't learned yet. They haven't figured it out. Of course, I know there are those people who, they go to work every day, you know, and they come home. But, you know, times have changed. We no longer can just go to work and come home and go, okay,
yeah, it's election day. Let me see the election voter guide. Okay, let me read through it. If you do that, you might as well just take everything in your bank account, give it to the government, take all your guns, turn them in, because government is like a fire. It wants more. It's going to burn and grow and burn and grow as much as it can, and that's what we're seeing today. That's exactly what we're seeing. So what I would ask you today is remember those troops. Remember the people that gave their lives for our freedom, starting with our founding fathers. Remember the things that they suffered. I sometimes will get up here and I read a story about the founding fathers. You need to read that. You can go online. And it tells the story about what happened to them. I go into the schools and I ask them, do you know what happened to your founding fathers, when they declared our independence? You think, oh, they declared independence and everything was great. Life was wonderful. No, they suffered. Some of them lived in caves because they were being pursued by the British. Okay? These are your signers that lived in caves. Their families disappeared, never saw their families again. The wives locked up, died while incarcerated. It was not easy. They suffered because they knew what was at stake, just like you know right now. I would ask you to go out, talk about these troops, talk about our founding fathers, talk to everybody you see. Don't stop. Remember how important they are, and continue teaching your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors' children. If they're on your property, they're fair game. You don't want me to give them conservative politics? Keep them in your yard. Don't send them over here. If you do that, I promise you, that will be the one thing that will ensure that we remain one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all of us. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, you're on.